war.
Yup.
Put the guns away. We all have been fighting over time to the most important things in life.
Right.
Bond together. We need to unite. We need to come together.
Too much violence going on. Just quit.
California love. California love. California love. California love. It's time to end the silence. Put a stop to all this violence. People hating and they fighting, using guns and we're dying. It's time to start rising to the top. We are climbing, gaining power from above. Spread that California love. California community, raise love, raise unity. Time takes opportunity to love yourself with self-esteem. Time to change our reality. Shooting and killing won't set us free. No, won't set us free. No, won't set us free. This is not a shadow play. People dying, being taken away. Can't go outside to play. Even in school, we're not safe. Shooting us down like we're bait. Time to put the guns away. Stand up for a brand new day. Stand up for a brand new day. It's time to end the silence. Put a stop to all this violence. People hating and they're fighting, using guns and we're dying. It's time to start rising to the top. We are climbing, gaining power from above. Spread that California love. Don't know, I choose not read. Still fighting over territories. Fighting love, don't act with hate. We all are great. Everybody on separate teams. Trying to chase our hopes and dreams. Yup, our hopes and dreams. Yup, our hopes and dreams. It's time to end the silence. Put a stop to all this violence. People hating and they fighting, using guns and we're dying. It's time to start rising to the top. We are climbing, gaining power from above. Spread that California love. Don't know what to go right. I don't dare tonight. Gonna dream ever in a world full of sin. No more separate teams. Time to chase our hopes and dreams. Time to put the guns away. Rise up for a brand new day. 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 Love. California love. California love. California love. California. It's time to end the silence. Put a stop to all this violence. People hating and they fighting, using guns and we're dying. It's time to start rising to the top. We are climbing, gaining power from above. Spread that California love. Young prodigies.
Good morning. My name is JD Young, and I'm a sophomore at Central High School.
Hello, my name is Haley Brentz, and I'm a senior at Assumption High School.
Good morning. My name is Fatima Abdullahi, and I am a sophomore at the University of Louisville studying biology and public health. We're all members of the One Love Louisville Youth Implementation Team. As a team, we are charged with helping the mayor and other community leaders understand the complexities of community violence and help them develop strategies to reduce homicide, suicide, and drug overdose-related deaths.
Over the past few months, I've had the pleasure of co-facilitating meetings and helping coordinate Louisville's part in the National Youth Violence Prevention Week. You may be wondering what that means. This week was initially a dream thought of by Students Against Violence Everywhere, also known as SAVE, an initiative of Sandy Hook Promise. National Youth Violence Prevention Week was started in 2001 with hopes to promote effective strategies to prevent youth violence before it happens.
The nationwide campaign is a week-long event with each day of the week corresponding to a specific challenge faced by teens. There are 5 themes for each day. There are 5 themes, one for each day of the week. Monday's theme is Know the Signs. Tuesday is Promote Respect and Tolerance. Wednesday's theme is Be an Upstander. Thursday's theme is Resolve conflict peacefully. And Friday's theme is Unite in Action.
Beginning in December, a number of youth representing social justice and violence prevention organizations met to discuss what Louisville issues are important to us and what we would want National Youth Violence Prevention Week to look like. The youth and the wonderful adults who helped us brainstorm came up with various activities, having everything from skits, dinners, movies, and PSAs, to mindfulness workshops, art installations, and social media campaigns. Those participating in the week are invited to share via the hashtags #NYVPW and #LOU, L-O-U, YVPW that week to showcase their work.
Now we would like to welcome Mayor Greg Fisher to say a few words about the National Violence Campaign Week.
Thank you, Fatima. Well, I want to thank our leaders from Wheatley over here for getting after it. Good job. Principal Button, we appreciate you. Good job. And yeah, let's hear it for him too. And to our One Love Louisville youth team, you guys have been doing a great job for years, and we really appreciate your leadership and your help on what, for year-round, but this very important week that we've got coming up here. It's going to be a great showcase here for us in our city. I think we can all come together and agree that violence reduction is something that we will work toward every day. If you're like me, when you hear the story of violence, whether it's on TV, radio, it just kind of punches you in the gut. And you say to yourself, well, first it's the feelings, you know, it's like, oh gosh, when is this going to stop? How did we get here? Why does this keep happening? Not just in our city, but cities all over the country. We make progress, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but we know that we've got to keep going and we've got to come together to keep fighting each and every day of the year. And that's what Youth Violence Prevention Week is all about. This is a national event, as we just heard, organized by Students Against Violence Everywhere, and it's designed to promote respect and tolerance amongst our youth, along with the importance of resolving conflicts peacefully and the need for members of our community to everybody come together and take action to stop violence, because certainly this is not just a youth issue, it's primarily adults. According to SAVE's research, 60% of American children are exposed to violence, crime, or abuse in their homes, schools, or communities. Imagine that, 60%. We know that's not acceptable for our country, for our people, for our cities, and we also know we didn't get here overnight. So it's going to take time and persistence and a sustained effort, but we also know we can do better, and we are doing better in our city. That's why I'm proud of the work that we've done at Metro and all the citizens of Louisville to address youth violence here in our city. Through our Office for Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods, that you're going to be hearing from Rashad here in a moment, we're working to end that cycle of violence, and so often it's connected with people feeling disconnected and hopeless, and that leads too many young people to a life of crime. Now, the facts are that 99.999% of our youth and people want good, productive lives, and that's where most of our resources go into. But we all deserve to live in a peaceful city, in peaceful neighborhoods. So we work on that in various ways. Through our Interrupters program, we're working to end conflicts before they escalate into tragedy. And through partnerships like Reimage, we're helping young people who've been involved in the justice system find the right path. And we'll be hearing from a young man who's benefited from this program and has a beautiful story to share with us. Now, one thing we know, obviously, to reduce youth violence, we've got to reduce overall violence in our communities. Louisville is like many cities. There are a small number of people, and it's usually several hundred, that create most all of the mayhem in a city. And so we have a pillar of promoting and people's potential, but then we also have to realize that there are some folks that don't want to go down that path. We created a 6-pillar violence reduction plan that introduces enforcement efforts, like a federal task force to seek federal indictments against our most dangerous and violent adult criminals so they can be removed from the streets, so that we can sit out on our front porches and not be worried. And we're stepping up our efforts to get illegal guns off the streets so our kids won't be harmed. Our country is awash in guns. over 340 million guns on the streets of America. Last year, LMPD took a record 1,900 guns, illegal guns, off our streets, the highest since merger. Put all those efforts together, we've made progress. Last year, overall violent crime, including shootings and homicides, went down, but they had been going up for a year, so it's not good enough. There's a lot of work left for us to do. We are heading in the right directions. We got to keep working our plan and have more and more people involved. One of the greatest signs of hope I see in this ongoing fight to erase violence from the lives of our young people is the passion and drive that we're seeing from who? From our young people. I'm extremely proud of all the people, young people across our country and right here in Louisville who have stood up, especially since the shootings in Parkland, Florida, and said enough is enough with gun violence. My office is working closely with the youth organizers of the March for Our Lives event on this Saturday. It should be a tremendous demonstration of our whole city coming together to say enough is enough. And I support stronger laws to prevent gun violence as well. We're working right now in Frankfurt to pass a few bills associated with stronger gun laws, and we need to discuss best practices for gun violence and prevention at the local level, like common sense things that almost every American agrees on, requiring gun transactions to utilize a licensed gun dealer for all sales, promoting responsible storage of firearms and use of gun locks with enhanced penalties. So if a child is harmed due to improper storage, the police can confiscate and destroy weapons that are used in these acts, prohibiting the purchase of firearms by individuals with a domestic violence order. We see too often these domestic violence situations, or you hear about the 5-year-old boy shooting his 2-year-old daughter or 2-year-old sister just because there's a gun laying around. Folks, we can do better than this. These are common sense steps we can take to keep all of our kids safe, and we owe it to them to come together and do that. Because witnessing violent crime, worrying about violent crime, or being part of a violent crime should never be normal for any child. And we have to do more to give our kids the chance to grow up in schools, streets, and homes that are safe. And that's what National Youth Violence Prevention Week is designed to help us do. We have well over 100 partner organizations and schools participating in events this week. Rashad and his team have done a great job pulling this together. And listen to this, we have over 30,000 young people that have signed up so far to participate. That's an incredible amount. So I want to encourage everyone, invite everyone who cares about this issue, and that's everybody in our city, whether you're a youth, whether you're 1 year old or 100 years old, to participate in the events that we have planned for this week. And I especially ask our citizens, please come out this Saturday to join us in the March for Our Lives event. This Saturday, we will start at 1:30 at the corner of Witherspoon and Brook, and it will end in front of Metro Hall. I want to thank all of our high school youth and college youth that have helped organize this tremendous event. Obviously, we will be doing our event here in Louisville as similar events like this take place all over the country, including the large event in D.C. So we need to do our job here in Louisville to send both a local, statewide, and federal message that enough is enough. We need reform, and we need safety as it relates to gun violence. So please come out and join us and say enough is enough with gun violence. In our city, we have a cross-functional system that's working together, a collaborative system to address this challenge. And I'd like to thank all of those partners who are standing with us this week and every week in this essential work, many of whom you will hear from in a moment. Jefferson County Public Schools and their leader, Marty Polio. Cities United, a national partner and sponsor for this week. Metro United Way, Center for Women and Families, Peace Education, Centerstone, the Muhammad Ali Center, LMPD and all the great work they do with Chief Conrad. Their community relations team does a wonderful job for us day in and day out. They're here with us today. Our Metro Department of Health and Wellness under Dr. Moyer's lead, and many, many more, including Michael Gritton, Vincent James, our Chief for Community Building, Sevi Ghosh, who runs our park system here as well. This is something where everybody in our city agrees on, and we come together to work in a very effective way. But we need more folks, and we need to move faster. Speaking of that, I'd like to introduce Rashad Abdul Rahman. He's the director of our Office for Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods. He's been organizing these events for months now, along with our youth leaders, and he'll talk about some of the specific activities happening this week. Please welcome Rashad.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, everyone who is here today. This is, I think, a remarkable indication of the fact that our community cares, and the fact that we have such robust young leaders who are just waiting for the opportunity to step up and have a platform to elevate their brilliance, and the fact that they have solutions, right? They're coming into this space with wonderful energy, with wonderful ideas, and this is a platform, one of many, I think that we need to really invest in to lift up our young folks. And I just want to say that, you know, it's an honor to do the work that I do, and it is an honor because of the young folks that I get to build with, that I get to support the promotion of peace in our communities and them reaching their full potential. Again, our youth hold the keys and solutions to their success, and our role is to lift them up and facilitate a dialogue and a platform for that. I really can't describe National Youth Violence Prevention Week any better than they have. I do just want to emphasize that it is an awareness campaign to lift up. There are things that can be done, big and small, that promote the prevention of violence in our schools and in our community. If you haven't had an opportunity to go to the nationalsave.org website, there is an action kit that also lifts up a number of different opportunities to get involved. And we'll be sharing those throughout the week. Our partners during the day will be sharing those throughout the week. We just want to be really clear that everyone can get involved, and there are things that can be done very easily to get involved. I want to again thank our partners. The mayor mentioned many of them: Jefferson County Public Schools, Pact in Action for the Center of Women and Families, Metro United Way, who helped develop a link so that folks can go online and identify what they're doing for the week. Again, super easy. I'll share that link here shortly. And if our friends in the media can maybe scroll that link on the bottom, that would be amazing. The PAL Coalition with Family and Children's Place, the Muhammad Ali Center Scholars, the Center for Health Equity and their youth team. Cities United is a national partner. They'll be sponsoring an event with us tomorrow evening, a dinner for youth, but they'll also be sponsoring our Unite in Action Day on Friday. The Center for Health Equity, I already said them, Peace Education, who's sponsoring a day, Centerstone, who is sponsoring this day, the Youth Violence Prevention Resource Center, the YMCA, St. Vincent de Paul, and the Louisville Urban League, who have all been tremendous partners. Again, over 30,000 young folks who are signed up to participate in events this week, many of which through JCPS. Thank you again, Dr. Polier, for your support. Again, just want to encourage everyone to find something to do. We're going to be sharing very easy things that can be done to really lift up this week, and that link to Metro United Way, thank you, Felicia, for helping develop this, is metrounitedway.org/report. That's metrounitedway.org/report. Please get on there, list what you're doing. We want to hear about it. We want to track it. We want to make sure we can share and really kind of show that Louisville is fully immersed and fully engaged in this week and really lifting up our young folks. So at this point, I'm going to introduce Dr. Marty Polio to make some remarks for you all today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Proud to be here today, standing over where we had a press conference down below several months ago, opening our California Community Center satellite office, which has been a big success that we're actually looking to replicate in other areas of the city. So we're really excited about what's taking place right below us here. Definitely had to thank Wheatley Elementary again, Wheatley Wildcats. Thank you very much. Great job. They performed downstairs at the press conference before, and I'll say this, one of my favorite schools to visit is Wheatley Elementary. My favorite lunch of the year was at Wheatley a month or two ago, and I actually walked in the cafeteria, and I was filming my weekly wrap-up in a cafeteria. And pro tip that I've learned, very challenging to do a weekly wrap-up with lunch going on in an elementary school. But we did it, and then afterwards I had some young ladies, second graders, ask me to sit down with them and have lunch, which I did. So if you ever want honest feedback about your job performance, sit with a table full of second graders. They will tell you exactly what they think, especially about the food. But it was a great trip to Wheatley, so thank you very much. Great principal, B.J. Bunton. Thank you very much for that work and performing for us. So excited to be a part of this partnership. I want to thank Mayor Fisher and his team for all the work. I've said since the beginning of my time in this role that this can't just be JCPS, it just can't be the city. We have to work together, all of us together, to wrap our arms around all of our children to improve the outcomes for students. It has to be a community-wide issue. And more than ever, I have seen more engagement from our schools and from our communities working together to make sure that we are successful. And this is a great opportunity for all of us to be a part of work that will reduce violence in our schools and in our community. And we are very excited and happy to be a partner in this work. As Mayor Fisher said, belonging is so important. And his comments were really about belonging to a community. But at the same, as I have said many times, student belonging is so important to success in our schools. And so our role in this is to make sure students feel that sense of belonging. We increase that belonging for every single student where they are connected to their school in a positive way, and in turn we will have positive outcomes. So as the community is working to do that, we are working as a school district to do that. Every kid, K through 12, to increase their student belonging, and I think we will see great results from that work. And so our work together, the City of Louisville, with JCPS is very important for the success of our community. Also want to note all of our schools will be participating in one way or another in the activities during this week. I wanted to highlight a few. First of all, you saw Wheatley, who made a song and has done a lot of work around reducing violence. Carter Elementary is partnering with the Junior League for a Painting Pathway for Peace partnership. Cameron Middle School will also be displaying posters and chain links with a nonviolence theme. So we're very excited about the work, partnering with all of the community, the city, Louisville Urban League, and many other partners to make this a success, to improve the outcomes for our students and community-wide. So thank you very much for this work, and we're excited to be a partner.
Thank you, Dr. Polio. Appreciate the partnership. Great job. Another partnership, obviously, is our Metro Council. They step up, they allocate funds and resources for public safety, for youth development, day in and day out. And our Metro Council President David James is here with us to share a few thoughts. Mr. President.
Good morning, everybody. How are you all doing? Good. Mayor, I just want to say thank you for being here, and thank you for the work that you're doing in this area of violence. You're doing a lot of support, and I just want to say thank you. And Dr. Polio, I just want to say thank you. I'm really glad you're the new school superintendent, and I'm really glad for Wheatley being here and for Dr. Bunton being the principal in my community. But most importantly, I want to say to you, thank you for supporting the students that walked out in support of this community, in support of gun violence and against gun violence. Thank you. There were many superintendents around the country that didn't do that, but you did, and I just want to say thank you. We're in the 6th District today, and we're in California, and we have a lot of love in California. That's why we had a song about California love. And but we also have some issues in California that surround violence. It's just 2 days ago, we had 7 people shot 10 blocks from here at an establishment. And so violence is real in our community. And so when a lot of people in our community wake up, they don't have the thought of violence going on in their community because it doesn't go on very much in their community. And so my point is to everybody, I just really want to say that as the mayor talks about it, as Dr. Polio talks about it, and others talk about it, is that our entire community, whether it's happening outside of your door or not, is affected by the violence. And there's no such thing as your side of the canoe is leaking. And so I want our entire community to understand that we all have to come together to address the violence issue in our community. And if we don't, we will fail. And so I'm not into failing, I'm into winning. And so we all need to win together. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Appreciate it, and thanks for hosting us in your district here, too. Sadiqa Reynolds is the president of the Louisville Urban League, former judge, great community leader, been active in this area her whole life. So please welcome Sadiqa Reynolds.
Well, hello, everyone. I am really so thankful that the Louisville Urban League can participate in this wonderful work. Obviously, there's a special place in my heart for the work of the Office for Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods and everything that Mayor Fisher and Rashad are tied to, because I was in the office when we created this work. And I hear from many people, what I'm sure you do too, when you think about what Councilman James just referred to. 2 days ago, there were 7 people shot, and you say, what are we doing? Is this really working? And the answer is yes. Because you have to imagine a world where we weren't doing this. What if we weren't focusing on it? The challenge is that we can't give you the numbers for the number of people that we actually save, how many young people we're able to touch. And really, I think we've got to do a better job at telling that story, and I'm glad all of the media is here because we need you to help us do that. It is so important for us to recognize that the work does matter, and it is very hard to get that negative count. So that's one thing. The other thing that I think is important, and it hasn't been said today, but I do want to say this. So often we hear about this thing called black-on-black crime, and I think it's really important for us to understand the numbers, right? So most people who are killed by people who live around them, okay? And so racially, how does that break down? 82% of whites who are killed by other whites, and about 89% of blacks that are killed by other blacks. So this idea of black-on-black crime is just something that we have created. The reality is it's just crime, and we ought to care no matter where we are or what we're doing. We ought to be invested in real solutions. The work of the League is jobs, justice, education, health, and housing. Why do we do those things? Because we are interested in root cause change, and I know that that's what our city is interested in. We have to do these things, right? We've got to have a police department. We've got to have judges. We've got to have courts. We've got to have the mayor and the council working together to fund these phenomenal projects and programs. I saw Brown-Forman Corporation is here as well, Lynn Rippey with Youth Build. All of us constantly trying to work together to figure out solutions, but we understand that the real solutions are rooted in getting to the heart of the problem. And so how do we create opportunities for everybody across our city? How do we make sure that there is a job for every person who is able and willing to work? How do we ensure that we close the educational achievement gaps so that it is not true that in our city and across the country, a black person with a college degree is making the same amount as a white person with a high school degree? How do we ensure that we really do invest in a world that changes outcomes? Because the violence is a result of feeling like you are not actually included. So how do we really move the needle? Here's what I'm proud of in Louisville. I am in a city with a bunch of partners who are willing to have these very, very real conversations and do the very, very hard work. And in the meantime, while we are doing all of that, Rashad, I cannot thank you enough and the mayor enough for listening to these young people, for giving them a voice, for allowing them to shine. And some people may say, oh, they're out of school doing this step and this dance. Listen, everybody wants a place to show their talent. Everybody wants to succeed. Everybody wants a day to be in the spotlight. So let's give them that, but let's find more of that. These people, these children, they have answers. They have solutions. They understand what is happening. They don't have to think about or take a survey. They know what they are dealing with. Ask them what they need. And so to you in our city, I just want to tell you how proud I am that we are asking the questions, that we are getting these beautiful young folks engaged to say to them, how can we help you? What can we do? And I can assure you, if you break the data down demographically, youth violence, we are making improvements. And what I can never give you are the number of lives that we save because we exist and because of the way that we do the work and because we were able to put so many hundreds and thousands of people into jobs. So it matters, and it matters how you all report that for us too, please, because we don't want this community to be defined by what happened 2 days ago. We don't want to, no, we no longer want to be defined by that which is least among us. In a community with 750,000 citizens and 100 and whatever homicides. Every one of them matters. Every one of them matters, but let me be clear. Most people didn't kill somebody, and most people weren't killed. So let's celebrate life and what is good and what is best about us. Let's tell these children something. Give them some hope to hold on to. It matters what you say about this community. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Rashad. Thank you to all of his partners.
Thank you, Judge. Appreciate your good work. Okay, so, we're joined at the heart on this work, and that's where we have to start. But we also have to have programs that work in this community, that are funded properly, and when they are, results take place. In our reimage program, that's a partnership with Kentuckiana Works. We talked about Michael Gritton here a moment ago, his entire team, Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods. Our reimage program, Kim Moore's here with us and her whole team. 250 youth have gone through reimage. Of those 250 youth, only 5% have recidivated. Okay, these are justice-involved youth. So when people tell you programs don't work, get in their grill and say, let me tell you about the programs that work. But they do need to be funded. So we're really happy to have Dominique Pendergrass with us today, who's a reimage participant. Reimage, well, that's up. Dominique, you got game already, man. Dominique is in reimage, as I talked about. Reimage is for justice-involved youth, age 16 to 24. They're paired up with a mentor so that they can discuss what their goals are, have their goals come through, and then have a positive connection with the community. Dominique, give it to us.
All right, thank you, Mayor Fisher. Okay, I don't thank the adage, last but not least, applies here. Everybody here who went before me. Very important people. But I just came here to tell my story and let you guys know what reimage did for me. First and foremost, I'd like to thank some people. I'd like to thank Ms. Kim, who is my connect in reimage. She approached me about 2 years ago at Benefit. It was a 5K walk against violence. And she saw me with my son, who was he was a year old at the time. And I guess she just saw something in me. She approached me and told me she'd like to help me. And up to that point, I'd never had anybody in my life come to me, a stranger, and tell me they wanted to help me. At first, I thought it was a gimmick. I didn't know if she was being honest. I didn't know if she even worked at Kentuckiana Works. But I think that happened on a Saturday, and come Monday, I was there when she told me to be. I was there 30 minutes early because everything she told me sounded great. I wanted to be a part of it. After that, I came daily. I was there 9 o'clock every morning, and I wanted to change. I wanted to see what I could do, and reimage had a different approach than all of the other programs and things that I had seen up to that point. Everybody else wants to come with a blanket approach to individual problems. The problem is the individual, and it just manifests itself and it shows in the community. They had aptitude tests and all different types of things that help the individual. Here, I'm gonna speak from the heart. Like my uncle and my mentor, Rob Moore, told me to. Yeah, so the people who I want to thank are Daryl Davis with A Prisoner's Hope. I'd like to thank Judge Barry Willett for seeing something in me. I'm supposed to be in prison right now. 2 hours ago, I was reporting to my PO. You probably can't tell right now, but I just came from reporting. And when it's ironic, when I went up to sign my name, the guy, he took the clipboard and he was like, are you here for an interview? I was like, no, I'm a criminal.
Was a criminal.
Yeah, I was a criminal. Right. Thank you, Mayor Fisher. I'd also like to thank Todd Moore Baker and Arnetta Moore with Family First. It's another organization that's helping in the community. And last but not least, Kimberly Moore and Phil Miller for giving me this platform and opportunity to speak to you guys. The first three questions that came to my head when they told me I was going to speak were, who do I think? And those are the people I came up with. What do I wear? I was going to wear a tux, but I kept it light, you know. And how to tell my story. So I was involved in some of the more unsavory acts that are going on in this community. I was a detriment to this community. I did some of the things that I can't even talk about up here. And now I feel like it's my duty to give back and help. So I think the reimage program will be good for any youth who wants to change. I don't think it's good for everybody. Like I said, the blanket approach doesn't really work. You can't just apply something to an entire community and think it's going to help. But any youth who wants to change should be involved with reimage because, like I said, it has an individual approach towards the problems that are going on. And they're going to make you feel like family. Every time I walk in there, I feel like I hear the Cheers theme music. So I'm going to end off by saying this. Our circumstances determine our choices, and our choices define us as people. So if we make the people who we deem the threat in our community feel like they're part of the solution, then we can resolve the problem. All right, thank you.
Dominique, okay, that's what it's all about, okay? And when you look behind me up here, these are some of our warriors here in the community that have dedicated their lives to lifting people up. And this week we're focused on young people, but this chorus has grown throughout this community every year as peace has grown in the community as well. But what I can tell you, what I know is in the hearts and minds of all the folks up here is we're really not happy if there's one act of violence in our community. And we realize that we're living in a troubled times right now in our country, and there's not simple answers out there. But there's no giving up with any of the folks up here. And the more and more Dominiques that come along, the more and more Kim Moores that are coming along, the Vincent James, the David James that come along, Rashad, Sadiqa, et cetera. I mean, that's what it's all about, because winners attract winners, and we got to believe. And what you see here in the communities, we're getting results of people that believe. We're seeing the way the police department, our safe and healthy neighborhoods, and Jefferson County Public Schools all come together and say, how can we help each and every one of our children, lift them up? None of us choose where we're born, and some of us get pretty lucky where we're born. Others aren't. So it's our job as a community to look at each and every one of us as a member of a family that we're here to help. And that's what this week is all about. That's what 52 weeks of the year are all about here in our community. So I want to thank everybody for coming out. I really want to thank our team here. Okay, you guys are great. I mean, I work with a lot of mayors around the country, and I go to a lot of cities. I don't see people show up like this. I mean, it might be 10 people, it might be 12 people, and they're different people every year. Okay, what you see about our team is with the same people showing up and growing every year, because good work attracts more good workers, people that are joined by the heart. So Amber Ross, what you're doing at LMPD is amazing, the way that you're lifting up the young women in our community. Fatima Abdullah right here, one of 10 children, right, from Somalia. They came here. I met her probably 7 years ago when she was a volunteer in the library, working there just to help out. She got a job there. She's now pursuing her medical degree at the University of Louisville. Amazing story. So that's what our community is. So let's surround everybody with love and peace. Rashad, you've done a great job this week pulling everybody together. Now let's go out and have a great week. Thanks everybody for coming.